Welcome to another episode of Talking College Football with J.J. Kitchen. Of course, I'm your host, J.J. Kitchen, and it's been an exciting weekend, a pretty crazy weekend, a great weekend for viewership, but a better weekend for your Pitt Panthers. Now 8-3 on the season, a top 16 ranked win over Georgia Tech, a very astounding win. It was closer than what we wanted it to be. It was a little bit crazier towards the end. Pat Narduzzi looking to find ways to potentially blow the game, but luckily Ja'Kerian Boozy Turner didn't let that happen. A number of great things that Pitt did, but more importantly, it's a top 16 win, and that's a second-ranked win of the season. The first one, obviously, over number 25, Florida State, earlier in this season. Pitt's got themselves rolling in the right direction right now. We'll go over a lot of what good happened during that football game yesterday, but also, too, some of the correctable moments, the things that need to get adjusted, and more importantly, as we get into technically a playoff game, Acrisure Stadium, noontime here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this Saturday, just a couple days after Thanksgiving. And it's going to be a playoff atmosphere against the Miami Hurricanes, really going to probably be a top 10 football team heading into this weekend, guys. Man, can't wait for it. It is crazy. We are in one hell of a position in the way that Pitt bounced back. We'll talk about a number of different things here tonight. We'll have Eric's breakdown again, a great number of great topics, but also, too, the way that Eric breaks down tape is the best. And obviously, the Pitt guru is back in the house here tonight. We're lucky and blessed to have them both on here tonight. And I know we'll be telling you guys on here, but if we don't see you before Thursday, we'd like to wish each and every single one of you, wanted to get it on here before everybody else started coming in here right now, but wanted to wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving. Really, truly hope you enjoy your holidays with your families. It's Thanksgiving. You got to be able to go around the family, around a great group of friends. But, guess what? The Turkey Bowls are back here. And I know a bunch of you guys, especially here in Pittsburgh, the Turkey Bowl is a competitive one and also a physical one. I remember growing up, there's nothing better than lighting somebody up on a Thursday afternoon. So we'll get after it. But, guys, before we get into the comment section, the super chats that are coming in right now, the show is sponsored by Colonial Beer, located at 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. Tremendous people, owned by two great Pitt men, Bill and Alan, truly two of the best individuals you'll meet when you walk in there. Plenty of different selections while you're there. Plenty of different options to look at what you want, whether your lighter beers, your heavier lagers, your seltzers, all kinds of stuff that's in there. Go in there, grab what you need, and make sure you grab it this weekend before the last Pitt home game of the season, before we take care of business and potentially head to Charlotte. We'll talk more about that. But make sure you head into Colonial Beer, located 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. The show is also sponsored by Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson, an attorney on your side. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Brian Thompson, truly one of the best, a Pitt season ticket holder for football and for basketball, even though the basketball team is absolutely, positively atrocious right now, but he still goes to the basketball games. That's why he's a true diehard Pitt fan. Make sure if you have a question, you need answers, call Brian. Brian's one of the best because unlike the larger law firms, Brian cares about you, the individual. It's a relationship-based business, and he wants to make sure you get the results that you need in your case. He'll guide you from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. And if he doesn't have the answers for you, he'll put you in front of somebody that does have the answers and make sure you get the results that you need. Brian's truly a great individual, has a great family, and comes from a great family, and does a lot of work in the community in terms of volunteering. Make sure you go call Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson today, an attorney on your side. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Last but not least, the Cake Collection, the Backwards Cake Collection by Austin Kitchen at www.thekingscraft.com. Again, Austin, my younger brother, being able to have his own coffee brand has been great because of you guys. You guys have done a phenomenal job. We've gone countrywide. It continues to be just a great product. Me personally, again, never been a coffee guy. I became a coffee guy whenever I got this. The AK Espresso is personally my favorite. Make sure you go get yours today. Again, Austin Kitchen, a hometown hero out of Mount Lebanon High School, Coastal Carolina Chanticleer national champion, and now with the Seattle Mariners organization. If it can fuel a professional athlete, it can certainly fuel me and you. Make sure you guys go today. The K Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen at www.thekingscraft.com. As we bring our esteemed crew on here, Eric from the Bird Cave and Harry, of course, a number of different levels, not just in the world of Pittsburgh sports now, but a man, I call him the Swiss Army knife because he's just everywhere at this point. We're happy to have you both on here, gentlemen. And as we bring both these guys on, everybody, as we have now a little over 300 people on the live stream, remember, the show's free, but guess what? Remember, don't be a hoe, share the show. That's the fee here, guys. Make sure you guys do that for us. Gentlemen, it was a crazy weekend, and I got to tell you, Pitt, man, I wasn't sure if we were going to win this game or not, but first up, Eric, give me your thoughts, man. Pitt's now 8-3. It's got its second ranked win of the season. They're going into the final game against Miami, and it's playoff football right now. This is all it. For Pitt to get in the ACC title game, they need, one, to beat Miami. That's the most important thing. Take care of business. But then, two, either Virginia to lose against Virginia Tech or SMU to lose against Cal. But right now, Cal just fired their coach, Justin Wilcox, today. So there's a lot of things that need to happen. But, Eric, your initial thoughts as we head into the last week of the season.
The Pitt Panthers were doing their best Pittsburgh Steelers impersonation of we can't even have nice things or comfortable games. Like they had to make it a little bit more entertaining than it should have been. Was not surprised at the success that Pitt had against Georgia Tech. I was surprised at the amount of success they had early. I was talking about it was a favorable matchup for Pitt based on how Georgia Tech plays offense and Pitt plays defense. And then the fact that the way Pitt plays offense and how Georgia Tech plays defense, did not see 28-0 coming at all. But it did not surprise me that they had success. And I think the scheduling is making for a very stressful Saturday is if Pitt were to take advantage and beat Miami. We got to wait till the night games to see if they get in.
It's going to be enticing.
A lot of watch parties going on in the city of Pittsburgh if Pitt were to beat Miami.
It's going to be enticing. That's why I like the game. Honestly, would have rather had it at 3:30, but hey, it's at noon. We'll be able to get our stuff done, complete the task at need. We got to beat the Miami Hurricanes, which is a really good football team. I expect them to be a top 10 football team as we face them this week. Harry, you go into this last season, the last game of the week. Pitt goes into Georgia Tech. One, it's sold out, 51,000 people. Anybody I talked to said the environment down there was incredible. Your thoughts as we head into this last week? Pitt right now 8-3, with potentially being able to still go to the ACC title game.
So I tweeted today, and I checked, and I know a couple Georgia Tech guys, and particularly the guys that do Locked On compared notes. And Mike Tyson had a quote, and he says, you always have a plan set until someone punches you in the face. And I don't think Georgia Tech was ready for the physicality from our defensive line and the speed of our linebackers. And I think if you remember the first sack, Kyle Lewis took Haynes out. It was the second series and took him down. They were flustered. I don't think they've seen that level of physicality, speed, pressure. Now, to Eric's point, nobody saw 28-0. But I think they were reeling. Despite all the vitriol Narduzzi has received, let's face it, they came out firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. Flawless execution. Mason looked like Mason. Again, he didn't look like a freshman. Obviously, there were hiccups, and we could talk about that throughout the game. Yeah. I will say, I personally, I've never received more text messages from both Pitt and non-Pitt people within the frame time of a game. It was insane. But the point being, despite the hiccups, they went into a sold-out crowd, number one offense, and they defeated them. They did what they needed to do. So, as I stated in one of my tweets today, I don't give a damn about the hiccups. And we could talk about the botched fake punt, but they did what they had to do, and they won in spectacular fashion. And God bless Boozy at the end. That was wonderful. But to Eric's point again, next week's going to be a nail biter, and it won't be easy against Miami.
I couldn't agree more with you. And I think leading into your guys' points, just starting with the first half, Pitt, again, like you said, Harry, like you said, Eric, out to a 28-0 lead. It was a four touchdown lead. This team looked completely different than the week prior. pretty much took this pretty seriously. I mean, I heard during the week that the Pitt did a lot of stuff during the week that really changed up a number of things on offense. Obviously, we saw Kendall Stanley bump inside to guard. I think preferably that's probably the position he should be at. I think he really had himself a really good football game. Jeff Percy comes back, looks really damn good at the left tackle position. A lot of comfortability in that first half, and you saw Pitt's game plan when they came into this football game. The one thing that really was noticeable is, Pitt being very aggressive, and we'll go in through a number of things of the tape, but to break down really the first half, Eric, you look at the 28-0 lead, but the one thing that really stood out to me was just how Mason was able to move up in the pocket. He wasn't looking to extremely run right away. He was keeping his eyes down the football field. And again, we've said it a number of times on the show, he's an 18-year-old kid, but you're watching this guy and just his electric aura and his electric vibe of how he's able to really get this football team to keep moving forward. That first drive, man, we were just moving down the football field and just the excitement. And then, man, he scores a touchdown and you see the energy on the sideline. In your opinion, when you look at the first half, Eric, one, I know you talked about right in the beginning there, we didn't see 28-0 coming, but a couple things, that you looked at. One, the defense was extremely good. I mean, in the first half there. I mean, even towards the end of it, they give a couple tutties there at the later portion of the second quarter. But when you look at the first half of how this football team responded, what were a couple things that you looked at on offense that you said, man, okay, hey, Jaquarian Boozy Turner's off to a hot start. Kenny Johnson's off to a hot start. The offensive line was cooking. The defensive line and the defense was cooking. What were a couple things that you noticed just blatantly off the top of the first two quarters of the football game?
Yeah, it started in one of the videos I pulled up, and I believe that you have for later, is there was a defensive tone setter that Harry alluded to, and I think it was Brookings' hit on Haynes King on the second drive, I believe, Georgia Tech's second drive. Then later in that drive, and we'll see the video, where Battle broke up a pass, like a swing pass, and then you started to see Haynes King was never a great passer, right? Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
that kid has more heart than anybody on the football field. I enjoy watching Haynes King play, but that hit, I believe, and I'll show it to you guys, that Brookings put on him. You started to see him get happy feet because Pitt got away with a few bad plays. He missed 27 streaking down that would have got a touchdown. He overthrew some swing passes. He underthrew and overthrew some guys coming across, doing crossing routes because of that tone setter. Then you take on the offensive side, man. Listen, Boozy is becoming the ideal one cut and go guy. This guy when he cuts and puts and turns on the juice, he is special. Whether it's going to the outside or going up the middle, like we saw in the 56-yard game winner. And then really Mason being Mason, hitting guys on stride. There was a multitude of, and I believe I showed the one that he hit Holmes on the touchdown. He dropped a lot of balls right in zone coverages. His accuracy was just on point. And I don't think his accuracy was lost last week against Notre Dame. He was just late on some throws, right? So he was being him. The defense was just smacking Georgia Tech around. And then Boozy's one-cut run, and even Goff had a couple good runs just going right at him. I think that snowballed until we had that sportsmanlike penalty on Biles, and that kind of I think opened the door for Georgia Tech to start coming back. Yeah,
and to your point there, Hayes King did miss a number of throws, and then you heard during the telecast, which also, too, during the telecast, it was almost like they were rooting for Georgia Tech for the majority of the game. Oh. Harry, I mean, you had tweeted about that early in the football game, and I couldn't agree more with you. One, it was if the announcers are rooting for them, and it's almost like, what can we do to save, Georgia Tech and Haynes King, who, again, we saw really become Haynes King in the second half. But talk about that. I mean, you watch this game. One, Pitt made him uncomfortable, but man, whether it was the officials or the conversation on the telecast, I was kind of shocked. I'm like, good Lord. I mean, you would think that like this team was going to a natty guaranteed.
I think most football fans that watch games understand that the home team's going to get deference a little bit. They're going to talk about them a little bit more. this was obnoxious. I mean, you almost felt like you were watching a Georgia Tech crew.
Yeah.
I could not, and I will tell you, little do I know, I was screaming before Boozy had the final play. I was screaming to my wife, cut him on the outside, man. He was going ripping long runs on the outside. Well, little do I know, they run him in the middle, and what's he do? Go all the way and score. And I had to tweet that immediately because I just wanted to hear them shut up. They were incessant and annoying. But beyond that, Eric covered a lot of it, but I really think I prefer Pitt play a quarterback that can run because they're so stout against the run, and that constant pressure. I understand that there was adjustments made and that Georgia Tech had a comeback, and I do credit them for that. But I think when you look at the pick six and you look at some of the other plays that were there, what caused that is this kid isn't a pure passer. Haynes isn't a pure passer.
No.
And it was the pressure that was put on him that caused him multiple times, one, the interception in the first half, and the second half, the pick six. And I think that was critical. And I'm not sure that they've seen that level of pressure. And like I said, he's a Heisman Trophy wannabe, but I think they might have bumped him out of the race last night for the performance. So, but overall, like I said, they did what they had to do to win. But I was just elated with the pressure that was put on him. And I will tell you, you could tell Cruz Brookins was pumped to be back. Every hit was violent. Every hit. He played an incredible game. And Eric, I think that the play you're referring to, I got to give Haynes King a lot of credit. He was popped. I mean, he got hammered. But I think Lewis's initial sack sent a message, and I think he was very rattled after that.
Yeah.
Then it was the following series, Brookins just went out and just took him out.
Yeah.
So plays like that matter. They set the tone. And again, it's very hard to come back from a 28-0 spot. And even, when he interviewed afterwards, Tech's coach, whose name's escaping me right now, I don't know why, but he mentioned that. Key. What am I saying? And he's interviewed with Penn State, ironically. But he mentioned, it's very hard to come back. I mean, you almost have to play a flawless game after that, and obviously they didn't. So, again, an incredible game, a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs, but you got the W, and that's all that matters.
Couldn't agree more. And before we go to Eric's breakdowns, because I think there's just a number of things on film and we can take a look at during the game. We shift, obviously Cruz Brookins coming back was a huge matter. I mean, the guy was absolutely, I think that we don't talk enough about how well Cruz Brookins plays. I mean, we all know about Kyle Lewis. We know about Rasheem Biles. We talk about those two guys a lot. We talk about, Braden Lovelace, who, again, in the second half, as we lead in the second half here, had a major interception, 100-yard return for a touchdown. It reminded me a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers, James Harrison's interception in the Super Bowl. It was almost the same formation where he drops into coverage, able to pick it off, and goes back to the house and takes it for a touchdown. But when you look at this game, it was good to get Cruz Brookins back again. Hometown hero out of Steel Valley, a great kid, great family. But, man, he was missing the last couple games. It was good to get him back. But then we go to the second half. A number of things occurred. And this game, again, I was furious as this game was going on. A lot of good stuff that happened. The defense was still playing at a high level. In reality, even with the botched punt, fake punt, Pitt's defense really only gave up 21 points in this football game. I mean, it was overall a really good defensive football game for Pitt, even though for a couple portions of the game they couldn't really stop Georgia Tech going down the football field. We saw on a number of different alignments the defensive line was going out of their gap alignments, out of their alignments, rushing up the field. Haynes King in the second half really started to run wild at that point. But in the second half here, I think one of the things that was pretty noticeable that everyone probably wants to talk about is I was absolutely shocked at the fake punt scenario with Pat Narduzzi. I mean, you are up 14 points. You're on your own 40-yard line. At that time, I even tweeted out, I said, if Pitt loses this game, I said that may be the play that gets Pat Narduzzi fired, because when you're up by 28 points, you're already getting closer. It's coming to a 14-point lead. Then you do a fake punt. Now it's a 7-point lead, and luckily, Jakiri and Boozy Turner who, on the day overall, as we talked about him numerous times here, 21 carries for 200 yards, 9.6 average, 1 touchdown. I mean, just an absolute breakout of a game, especially when you're missing Desmond Reed, who is an all-around factor. He's dealing with a lingering injury on his leg. I mean, the kid's been trying to get through it this year, but certainly hasn't been able to. Jakiri Boozy Turner and Joel Goff have done a good job. But Jakiri Boozy, I mean, the kid just played lights out. But starting with you, Harry, when you saw that fake punt, one, it's on the short side of the field. You're on your own 40. Georgia Tech has proven that, okay, it takes them about 3, 4, 5 minutes to work down the field. You give them a short field while you're up 14. One, what were your initial thoughts of it? Because one, I couldn't believe it, and let alone the actual national crowd. I mean, there were millions of people viewing, and they were even saying, what the hell is this guy doing? Your initial thoughts of when you saw that, and just one, was it just outlandish or just too aggressive? What were your thoughts?
Let me. I've thought about this pretty heavily, and I dues. So let me say this. No, would I have done it? No. If it was properly executed, if you go back and you look, and I hate people are gonna get mad at me when I say this. Penn State ran the exact same fake yesterday, and it worked. And when I say it, almost looks like the same damn play. Mm-hmm. So if it was executed properly, he would have looked like a genius. But in the field, there was something going on with the field. The kid slipped, done. Where they were at, no. With the amount of time that was left, I would have just kicked it. If we did complete the play, Deuce would have looked like some sort of a genius. But even if you go back to the first half, it looked like Kenny Johnson was going to run the ball in when he caught it, and he just fell on his face. Something was going on that side of the field, and we end up hitting something. So if you look back, I had a few people go, "Well, would have worked," and I think they're right, but I still wouldn't have done it. I really, really wouldn't have done it. I feel for Deuce in a sense because it was a great victory yesterday. But that's all the national media and local are talking about. The amount of vitriol, even from my family, friends who I was receiving text messages, was over the top. I think he regrets doing it. And I couldn't believe when he mentioned, and he was very candid with his comment, that they hadn't practiced it much.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I understand. I think he was desperate to win. I get it, but you got to use your head there, Yeah. I think there's a time and a place for it. And I actually think if he didn't slip, he may have pulled it off. But point being, you're on your 40. You're giving him almost an automatic. You're giving him less than half the field. I would have never have done it.
Yeah, and it just, there's so many different levels that you look at that play. When you're up 14 points, under no circumstance, I don't care what, I don't know what analytics they were looking at or what they thought. Right. But to your point, the one thing I did appreciate is, in the post game show, he was asked about why, what were your initial thoughts? And he just said, he goes, guys, you want to call me? He goes, I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumbass. And he goes, I shouldn't have done it. I tried to make it a play. That's probably the first time. There's got to be assistant coaches out there that have coached for Dues or former assistants going, oh my God, that was probably the first time Pat Narduzzi's actually admitted to something that he did wrong. So that was a good start. In year 11, I'm glad we got there. But in year 11, we're still seeing things that just should not be happening to a coach who's been a head coach for 11 years. Eric, when you saw that play, one, what were your initial thoughts? Of just one, the how it was executed. One, they barely ran it, so they tried running it. And then to your point, one, in that moment of time, did it make sense to even do it?
Listen, I almost fired a football through my television when that happened. I don't understand why, but you know what? Harry hit the nail right on the head, which I believe why he did it. And I'm not going to dwell on it as much as well because, again, Pitt won. But here's the real issue, and I think it's kind of glossed over with this fake punt. Because what Harry said was Deuce was trying to put the game away. Right?
Yeah.
And he was. Do you know why he was trying to put the game away? Because the second half, the offense and particularly the situational play calling went to shit. Yeah. And they came like it's almost like it's like that or that mower that you're trying to start. They could not restart this offense in the second half. But I'll get to the final drive because they did it when it mattered the most. But they came out, and I took a couple notes on this. They came out in the second half, first down, and then They got a first down, and then Turner had another long run that got called back on a ticky-tack holding call. I believe it was on Hicks. All right. Then let's see. Boozy falls on 2nd and 3, 3rd and 4. There's one of those bad pitch plays that just got blown up. I don't like those pitch plays when Georgia Tech is flying around with all this momentum, and that's why that got gobbled up. Then they stopped Georgia Tech on 4th down and got the ball around the 40-yard line going in, and they went backwards.
Yeah.
Right? If Boozy had a negative 4-yard run, then there was a sack, and then after the sack was 3rd and 26, they throw a screen pass. It is what it is. And then lastly, there was like the 4th down. I was in a 4th quarter. They got the ball with around 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go, maybe 7:50. By the time it was 4th and 9, there was 7 minutes and 5 seconds left.
Yeah.
And they're trying to hold on at that point to a 35-21 lead. So what I think what Dews was trying to do was a spark. And yes, it does work because if it does work, everyone's calling him a genius for it. But he was doing this, I believe, to get that spark because the offense was not able to capitalize on that. They squandered too many opportunities to really put their foot on the neck of Georgia Tech. And I believe that's why that fake punt was called.
I agree with you there. And to your point, the offense only scored 7 points in the second half. That was a little bit concerning to me, in terms of just the flow of the football game. Georgia Tech certainly made adjustments. I'm not sure that, Cade Bell and this offense made enough adjustments in the second half. Luckily, the couple adjustments they made, they were able to move the football and then able to run the football to where they were able to score a touchdown. But we really scored 14 points in the second half. 7 of those were from Braden Lovelace, interception return. And then after that, really just 7 points, through an entire second half, which is, not good, especially with the level of defense that Georgia Tech really has. So that was a little bit concerning. Luckily, the defense was able to make enough turnovers to get that done. To Will Zam's question here, thank you, sir. Again, guys, if you want to hit the super chat button down below, make a small donation to the pod. We'll get your question up on the screen here above anybody else's. He said here, Will says, if you think that this week was bad, wait till the announcers glaze Miami next week, but no Pitt fan should hear it, as they should all be at the ACC. Hail to Pitt. Couldn't agree more. And from my understanding, I hear Louis Riddick could potentially be on the call for this Pitt game here on this Saturday. So if you are out of town and you're not going to the game, you will certainly be able to hear a Louis Riddick on the call. But obviously, I will be down at the football game. I'm pretty excited about it overall. But thank you for the super chat there, Will. But to your point, 2 things. We talk about the play calling of what was happening in terms of offense. The offensive line was kind of breaking down a little bit. We'll talk more about how it was really good there in the last couple plays that got us a touchdown. But the overall offensive play calling was a little bit questionable in the second half and how the offense was producing. But also number 2, we got to talk about the kicking situation because it was absolutely bewilderment for starters. Carpenter, I know he hasn't kicked all year. Now I understand. He very much struggled and he got hurt. It looked like he got hurt on the play, missed a 35-yard field goal. Whoever gave mono to Trey Botowski, if I find you, I swear I will curse you. I swear to God. The poor kid, he's been out for 2 weeks. We need that guy back immediately. And also, too, I said it during the game, we need to get a kicker that can actually do a kickoff. To kick the ball out of bounds multiple times a game. It's not just one game. It's not just 2 games. It's been 3 or 4 games. That kind of stuff needs to get corrected. And I don't know what's happening in practice, but we need to stop the hee-haw, and playing, the hoo-ha game at practice and start really focusing on special teams, because at the end of the day, it's college football. I don't care if it's D1 or D3. Kick the ball out of the end zone. Good Lord Almighty. You don't have to kick the ball out of bounds every single time and give the opponent great field position. So that was a little bit, frustrating to say the least. John Waffle here. Our doozy has been experimenting for years. This is why we lose games we should win. This is why we always underachieve. Well, John, at least in this game, we won. So, at the end of the day, we can, if we lost this game, we'd certainly be harder on them. I can tell you this, the notion would not be what we're saying today. But we did win. That's all that matters. Thank you for the super chat. Coffee 8087. Being a Pittsburgh fan and watching our pro team playing not to lose is hard for me to fault dudes for playing to win. But rather than the elements of surprise, I put the ball in Mason's hands, not blue. Yeah, at the end of the day, I agree. But to the point where, Harry and Eric brought up, you put it in Mason's hands, but also too, It was 4th and 9. That was the only thing I was very discouraged with too, is it just made no sense in the time. It's on your 40-yard line on the short side of the field, and on top of that, it's 4th and 9. So, again, he made a mistake. At least he said it was his fault. He shouldn't have done it. Luckily that, when you look at this football team, they were able to come out victorious, a 14-plus win, and we certainly covered the spread. I mean, the spread was, I think we were 2.5-point dogs. I mean, we came out firing on all cylinders, and luckily in the second half, we were able to put things together and really hold off and make sure that we were successful in that. So, again, thank you, Coffee, for the super chat here. And I'll be monitoring here as we go. Appreciate here, Notre Dame fan here. I knew you would beat Tech, and I think you'll beat Miami. We'll see. I know Miami is a top 10 opponent. The one thing that really is on our side, I saw a lot of Miami people talking about it this week. It'll be a high of 35 at kickoff. With the weather, it's supposed to feel like 25. So we've seen up here when it's cold up here, Miami doesn't play the way they're supposed to play, and it goes back to the days of Kenny Pickett, especially when he was up here. So we'll be monitoring the weather and what it's supposed to be like, but it'll certainly have some type of effect on the game, possibly. Going into it here, we're going to go into Eric's breakdowns here, and we're going to pull up here. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to pull up the first of a number of videos. Going through the first one here. The first one up. Let's see here what we got. Let's see here.
So is this V1?
Yeah, this is video 1.
Yep.
So we'll let it run here real quick, especially what you're going to see here.
Oh, yeah. Everybody cut out there. This is the Brooking hit that I was talking about. Watch this. Boop. This was the tone setter. Watch Brookings come up from the safety. Boop.
And again, you love to see it here, to your point, Eric. I mean, it's like he just throttles the guy.
Downhill.
He does. I mean, there's a lot of push up the field, too. I mean, Lovelace holds him up a little bit, and then he just pops him. Perfect technique, shoulder, right to his helmet, not leading with his head. Man. And then this is the second part of it. I think of the tone setter that I was talking about. This is a swing pass, and watch it battle. And there's actually 2 angles of this. The second, this angle's better.
Boom.
Plays right through the ball too, and that right there it's a great play. And if you remember, the very next play was that 4th down play that was kind of a wobbly pass, a little high, like he was trying to rush the ball out.
Yeah, and I think
on the same drive, JJ. Good.
I agree, and to your point, there's a comment in the comment section. I really do believe Rashad Battle played his best game at Pitt. I really do. This, we're facing a top 16 opponent. There were a number of plays that Rashad Battle was involved in, and I've certainly been critical of his play over the years. But man, this kid played lights out on Saturday.
And let's not forget he was playing in front of his family because he's from Georgia. So I guarantee you he had a lot of inspiration to play this game. But I agree with you, one of his best games.
Yeah, and he came off his coverage. You see the wheel route going there, which they're trying to design to open things up for 15. Look, he plants his foot. He reads the quarterback, comes off of it. And, again, it's a good ball. Boom. Plays right through the ball. So between that and, and Brookings' hit, along with the sack that Harry was talking about, those were the tone setters there that I believe shocked Georgia Tech.
I agree. In the video, too, Mason's touchdown here. See if we can pull it up here.
Yep. So this is the one. This is the second touchdown right after the penalty got called back. But he did a lot of this throughout the game. This is a perfect drop in the bucket into zone coverage to 88 right down the seam. And again, multiple angles will be on this play. Good pocket.
Just a beautiful throw.
Yeah, just drops it right in. Now watch it. Here we go. We can pause it here. Stop. Look at, and I think we might even get the telestrator here. We might be cheating and get the TV telestrators here. But look at the pocket.
Beautiful. Look at that. Percy going one-on-one with his guy here. Cooper doing a great job here. Stanley's doing a good job looking at both, helping him with here in the middle. Ryan Bayer holding on here. BJ Williams doing a great job one-on-one.
And look at this. He sees Kenny coming across and Poppy going to the corner. There's the pocket telestrator. And watch 88 go in because he knows that safety is going to go with Poppy or with Holmes. I'm sorry, with Kenny Johnson. Jeez, oh man. And then he just puts it right over the linebacker's head. Perfect. Puts it on his back shoulder to protect him a bit.
Just
Total
great
time.
overall.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So that's anticipation. You're throwing the ball before he's open, and he puts it right on the back, man. It's good stuff.
Gotta figure out
44,
look how
I believe
tight
that's
that window
44
is.
for Georgia. He's not the best coverage guy in the world, but he's a thumper, and they took advantage of him there in the passing game.
I couldn't agree more. And then you both have talked about it before. We talked about how Mason has done a really good job over his time at Pitt, just in this first season, just putting the ball in a great window. And and we've certainly talked about where in the Stanford game we tried putting a couple small windows. You saw a pick here and there, and then you had one interception against Notre Dame. Here's a great example of why you love the kid when he's a gunslinger. It reminds you a lot like Brett Favre. Brett Favre was a guy just was like pretty much I believe I can throw it in there. I'm gonna do it. And you look at the ball right. I mean, just right here, right over top of his hand. I mean, you can't ask for more than that.
It's perfect.
And that's funny too, because this touchdown here, this is the touchdown right after one was just called back, and then Holmes pretty much scored a touchdown twice. I mean, that was a pretty funny part too. Let's see here, the third video, 23's INT. I don't know if I have that uploaded yet. We'll come back to that one. We'll go to video 4. Boosie's one cut and blocking here.
Yeah, so if you watch, I mean, these are just two of Boosie's runs that when I watched this, he was doing a lot of just this one cut, and he goes, this one, both of them kind of bounces out to the side. But what I mean by one cut, even if it's one cut to bounce out to the outside, then he just goes. And he had a lot of runs like this. I could have probably had 14 clips just from Boosie. He had that kind of a game. So if you let this run so everybody can see this, and then you'll watch the second angle of it. And you're going to appreciate the blocking too.
Yeah, Percy crushed this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great game in general. Percy had a great game.
Again, a Michigan product, Michigan transfer. I mean, he's used to blocking. He loves it. That's for sure. I mean, it's just a great job there.
Yep. And exactly. Good job there. But it looks like it's KJ there with sealing the guy to the inside there. Yep, Johnson brings this guy down and just seals him out, allow Boosie just to get to the outside. This is another one. Again,
one play.
Yeah, one cut. Boom.
You just love to see it, man. I mean, that's just too.
Look at 82. Here's what I didn't like. If you go back just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Watch, this is one I was like, KJ. If KJ would have just blocked his guy. Watch 2. Don't go to save. Look, go to your guy.
Yeah.
Go to him.
He's right there in front of you, right here.
Right there.
He's going across the field. Malachi Thomas comes. He's basically an H-back, comes up. He's going to the second level to grab his guy. If Kenny just goes and blocks this guy right here, he's got it for days. But I mean, look at Malachi, that hole.
He could have won. He could have went on the second level and got that safety. If he'd at least gotten away of that D-back, this might have scored. I don't know what the angle would have been like. The guy that's on the GT there, maybe he'd have got him, but it would have definitely got more yardage. Again, that's a nitpicking, right? It was a great play. It gained a bunch of yards, but man, it was like that close from a house call, in my opinion.
Yeah, and your point here, the Ja'Kurian Boosie turn a one-on-one with the middle linebacker. He makes a great move to get to the second level, and boom, it's all there for the taking. That's what you love to see, especially out of your running backs. And this is crazy, a true freshman running back to make that kind of move.
Mm-hmm.
Really good overall. I mean, those are two crisp plays that you look at here. And again, we talk about Percy. It's good to see him back. I mean, again, guy's 6'7". I mean, those are the kind of guys you love to get up front. I mean, it's certainly missed him against Notre Dame, to say the least. But
yeah, just to have him just getting away.
We go to another video here. Mason's throw.
Yeah, I put this up here. This wasn't a critical part of the game or nothing. Listen, we've all said how well Mason plays, how we like to watch him play. I want to have you guys and some of you guys know this. This is just an absolute difficult throw. All right, so we'll watch it play. It doesn't look like much until you see the other two angles. This was actually a really good third down conversion. Okay,
yeah,
so
really
it doesn't
good.
look like much. Keep your feet. Watch it. Watch him torque his body. I don't know if anybody knows, throwing across your body like that is insanely hard. Look at right between the two defenders. And by the way, and Span does a really good job of sitting down and giving his quarterback a target.
JJ, there's your Favre comparison there.
Right there. I mean,
right.
Look at that. Right through these two defenders right here. He's got a guy right here in front of him, but especially when you're throwing a little bit behind yourself here to go through these two defenders. That is an incredible throw. And then to your point, Harry, yeah, I mean, that is Favre-esque. On the run, being able to throw a sidearm, finding his guy.
Cross body.
And if I recall, this was critical because if they stop him here, Georgia Tech at this point was looking for anything to stop Pitt.
Yeah.
So this kind of broke their back. It just kept things moving, and that's what this was a great play.
Yeah, this was the third down conversion and eventually led to the 28-0. So yeah, I mean, this was a great play. And then wait till you see the other angle too. But when you throw it across your body like that, all your momentum going one way, and you're able to. It's like look. You can tell this is the baseball background, right? Probably from his father, right? Baseball. Look
at that perfect spiral too. Look at that. That's unreal.
That's just it. Listen, there's a lot of guys at the D1 level that can make throws like this and such. Don't get me wrong, but this is just an absolute. The fact that he can do this at 18 years old at this level, I'm not amazed, but I'm amazed.
His ceiling is so high. If it's already at 18, wait till next year where, you're in this offense again for another year. You add more, more tools up front to the offensive line, more tools in the wide receiving game, more tight end work. I mean, it just gets better and better. And as these guys start to begin to age and start getting more experience, I mean, this is just pretty crazy, though. I mean, across, not even just, looking back at a wide receiver right there, he sees him. Just that window is incredible. To throw at that much velocity on the run like that and be able to hit it. I mean, look at that window. I mean, that is ridiculous while he's running.
Yep. And like I said, I got to give Span a call out for, sitting down and giving his quarterback a target, though. So that's good on his part.
Florida State transfer. Obviously, I think he's enjoying himself here at Pitt rather than being down at the everything that's going on down in Florida State.
Yep.
And they had their hearts broken today. Like I said, I know they're retaining Norvell. That can't go over well.
No, it cannot. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know in terms of money purposes, which I saw the numbers. They said to get rid of them, plus the staff, plus then go get a new staff on top of that. I think what they said is supposed to be a little over $100 million, and well, they don't have it. So
right.
Go to the next video here. 1 second here.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, too, I see some Tennessee comments in here. Like, you guys are 4-3 in the SEC at 8-3. I don't get it either. Last home game you lost to the best team you played. Last time I checked, I'm looking at the Tennessee Volunteer schedule right now. I mean, is there anybody that you guys faced?
Why you do that? Why you do that? I got a question for Go Vols 101. What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, Tennessee beats East. You beat East Tennessee State. You lost to Georgia. So the best team you faced all year long, you lost to Georgia. You beat University of Alabama, Birmingham. You barely beat Mississippi State, who's garbage. You barely beat Arkansas. You lost to Alabama. So the second best team you faced, you lost to Alabama 37-20. I mean, is there even a reason why Tennessee has a football team? You beat New Mexico State. Congratulations. You lost to Oklahoma. Like good Lord Almighty. I mean, the only three teams you faced, you lost all three, brother. I mean, get a grip here. I mean, I know maybe touch Rocky Top a little bit. Maybe touch the bottom of Rocky Top. Go to Rocky Bottom. I mean, good Lord Almighty, brother. Good Jesus.
What in the blue hell is he even doing here? I mean,
hey, we appreciate the views. That's all I can say. Hey, we need sometimes the stupidity is a good thing. But hey, going to the next one. This is
a little bit for that Florida game.
Yeah, they're still messed up over that. Here we are with the Braylon Lovelace interception return for a touchdown. I mean, this play is incredible.
Man,
Take it away.
Yeah, look, listen, you're right. This is a 100% James Harrison-esque type of play. But I'm gonna tell you, here's what he's thinking, and I do think these are still residual effects of what happened in the first half, right? So if you let this play, I'll tell you whenever to pause it real quick. But you're gonna see this guy go in motion.
Yeah. See here.
So watch the Georgia Tech guy go in motion here, and you're gonna see. Okay, they'll see McIntyre coming down. I'll stop it right. Do you see how Seven's coming down?
Yeah.
So you can see, look, that's giving Haynes King a man-to-man indicator here with the safety on the Georgia in the end zone there, probably free. So that, to me, I think that's what he's thinking of. So go ahead and roll it. And this is Lovelace doing a really, really great job. Like a stop.
Yep.
You can see
Lovelace
now that
Bryce.
they pull back into zone, right?
Yeah.
Now, the difference is this: he's just reading Haynes King's eyes, but look at 23 is about to wreck him, and he knows he's about to get hit, so he rushed this throw. This is still, in my opinion, after effects of the first half, and he rushed a throw right to Lovelace, and could be if Pitt gets into the ACC championship game, and they were to win the ACC championship game, this is the play of the year.
Couldn't agree more. And to your point, Eric, I mean, look at them. One, I like how Pitt, they usually like to disguise a little bit of stuff here and there. He thinks he's seeing man, to your point. They end up dropping into zone. And up here, you can't really tell what Pitt's running because everyone's on the line of scrimmage. Who's dropping and who's not. It's pretty much a guessing game. And then you see right here, Braylon Lovelace, who has the interception, to your point. One, does a great job of dropping. I mean,
it goes from a man-to-man look to a zone look. Then he feels the heat, and he rushes the throw, and the rest is history.
And great again, play. This is a great blitz here by Kavir Baines-Marquez here off the edge, to your point. Cornerback blitz. He comes up. Well, I'm sorry, safety blitz. Comes up. He's untouched. He feels the pressure. He just throws it.
I mean, what was stressed to me when I was chirping back and forth with my Georgia Tech guys, and Pitt fans have to understand, prior to this, Haynes King really had often had a solid pocket. You know, it's a very big physical team. That's like Brent Key likes to stress. And again, I think he was rattled. He wasn't used to the physicality up front, the speed of the linebackers. And to your point, this might be the play of the year. This was incredible. The pride of Leechburg.
The pride of Leechburg.
That's right.
And again, we see that formation from the all-22 set, which is nice. See it here. The motion's already there. Just a perfect drop. I mean, he's looking. He doesn't even realize he's there. Just perfect.
Yeah, he doesn't see Lovelace at all.
And honestly, it may have been even incomplete. He rushed a pass so much, and he was behind the guy. But Lovelace is already running there. Yeah,
if Lovelace wasn't there, that ball would have been incomplete. Unless the Georgia Tech guy would have made like the catch of the year.
Yeah. Just a great job overall. Really good.
Think of the time when this occurred, this juncture in the game. They score here, and we could be looking at a quote-unquote pitting event. I mean, just incredible, game changer, amazing, and what a thrill. Big game, big play.
14-point swing.
Yeah.
I mean, just a truly tremendous play. And to your point, both of you both said it here tonight, that is possibly the play of the year. Because it literally saved all the momentum. I mean, at that point, what is it? It would have been a 7-point game at that point. So we were up by 14. It would have been a 7-point game. They're driving back pretty quickly. He ends up changing it. It's now a 14-point swing. I mean, now we're up by 21 again. I mean, that's just huge.
Even the ESPN crew that was constantly lauding Georgia Tech said that it completely deflated. It was the crowd was raucous, going crazy, completely deflated the stadium, and just removed all momentum. So this was huge.
100%.
And then this game-winning moment here, which
so
again, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, this is the game winner, and obviously, just to be able to watch it with everybody because of how well it is. But I want you guys to notice something. Look at the safety at the top of the screen, above the hash. All right, in the pre-snap, He comes down. That guy right there, JJ.
Yep.
Watch let it play just a little bit, and you're going to see what he comes. He starts creeping down. Okay. So he's showing their ass. So Mason, he gets up. There's a call from the sideline.
Right here, yeah.
Yep. All right. So watch this. Let it go a little further. And then right before the snap, you're going to see he switches Boozy to the other side because there's an extra blocker to that side, which is
here.
And even though this goes up the middle, Holmes actually at least widens the defense out a little bit. This is a check with me. And he sees it creeping in. And then watch, he goes to the other side. And then both guys blitz. But he's got the extra blocker at Holmes there, and that's when he's going. And that's that one cut, and he's going up the middle. And you'll see like the one cut you'll get the an angle from the end zone. But I saw like to me that looked like I was either a check with me, they made an audible because of that number, because of fives coming down in the box there. Yeah, and you get the cheat here with the illustrator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then watch 70's block here.
Ryan Bayer, 70, man, just gets after it. Watch it, yeah. Shoo.
It's called a pancake, son.
Look how he just grabs that right arm. Look at his right arm. Just says, oh, yeah, come here, boy. Poof.
Mm-hmm. And he opens it up. And there's just enough of a crease from 88's presence on that side of the ball versus the other side of the ball, which is why they had Boozy flip to the other side of Mason. There was just enough of a crease. And then, it's up for Boozy to make that inside backer on the tee. Right there to your right of your hand there. Yeah. It's up for Boozy to beat that guy. And he does.
And it's crazy, too. You watch this handoff here. One, these two guys, watch how flat-footed they are because, one, they're more worried about what is Mason going to do because we're passing it so much. Then he actually hands it off. Watch these guys, to your point. Watch these guys just stand there, and all of a sudden, he's so quick. Jerry, look at him. He's so flat-footed back here. He's already missing because he's already blocking. He's so fast, it's already too late. The minute that happens, it's already too late.
100%. And the other backer's behind the line too much, and he can't get over, and it's good night. Yeah, the other middle linebacker to the left, he gets sucked up by the play actually a little bit, and he gets over on the other side, and he can't catch him. And it's a great play design and obviously a great run. Great blocking, and it's at 70. Pancake, son.
Just great. I mean, just that blocking up front is just, all in all, it's just a perfect play. You know, the guys do their job. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. I mean, just this whole right side of the offensive line, plus the good handoff here, potentially going through an option where he can hang on to the football, pausing both of these defenders. It's just honestly a thing of beauty.
You know, I will tell you, I couldn't help but think back to the last running back that went hog wild down there, which was Vincent Davis. And the difference between Boozy and Davis never had, to me, a lot of power. He was fast, but he didn't have a lot of power. Boozy is a complete package. I'm anxious to see when he adds a little bit of muscle in the offseason what happens. But I couldn't. You think back at Davis's performance back in the day. It was the one big game he actually had for Pitt, but he never had his power either. So it was just great to see yesterday, especially with Desiree graduating.
Couldn't agree more. And to your point, he just has, it seems like he's going to be able to have that power, that little bit of power to him, even for being a smaller guy. But he has the speed and the power. He's not being thrown around like a rag doll like Vincent Davis was. This kid clearly can be able to run through people, and just that overall speed is ridiculous, and just the elusiveness. To your point, Harry.
Yep. Yeah, and I want to shout out, because earlier in the show, I criticized Cade Bell and how he called the offense in the second half. I want to give credit where credit is due, because when they got the ball with 4 minutes and 51 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and they had the 35-28 lead, they actually got back to Pitt's offense. First down, you could tell there was a read. Mason pulled the ball in. It was an RPO. At least it appeared to be an RPO. And he hit, I can't remember. It might be Hicks. It might have been Johnson. I can't remember. For a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Perfect. Boozy only gets a 1-yard run to make it of the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. But then that controlled passing game where Hicks just sat down in the zone and he hit him nice for a nice 3rd down conversion. And then what happened next is what we just saw. So they kind of got back to what they were doing in that first half. So I will give credit that they kind of reset and settled down, and they made that last drive count. And then obviously we saw the results.
Yes, I agree. And again, another super chat here. Guys, if you've not done so, head over to YouTube, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button, and obviously the super chat button down there is to get you up on the screen. Another Wombat here, $5 super chat. I think over the last 2 weeks, we have seen what Pitt is, a top 25 team, but not a top 10 team. Going to be a good test against Miami. I really do agree with this. I think that is. We faced obviously one top 10 opponent. We were not able to win that football game, but we have been able to beat multiple outside the top 10, 2 other teams. I think at the end of the day, it's a very good point. I think, not just this year, we'll be able to see what Pitt can do as we go into this week, because we'll be facing another top 10 opponent in Miami. But it's good to see what corrections can we make, but it's also aligned to say, okay, from this year to next year, what exactly needs to happen? Where do we need to apply talent? What are we missing here? What can we look at overall during this year into next of how we can use the transfer portal to go get more guys? Because, one, Pitt's using a lot of young guys. I mean, this is a very inexperienced football team right now, especially on the offensive side of the football. So, I mean, to this point, I couldn't agree more with this. Pitt is definitely a top 25 team, but not a top 10 team. I agree. Fellas, do you agree?
If I could add this, and we've talked about this multiple times, this is a Mario Cristobal coached team. And the reason I'm throwing that out there, I probably on paper they have better talent than Pitt, but I think what we need there's always a November collapse from Miami. They seemingly just lose. They play a bad game. And I'm hoping that the weather, the fact that they're on the road, things like that factor in to this game. I mean, they have some elite talent. Carson Beck is a far better passer than what we just experienced. Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor animals on the D line.
Yeah.
But I always factor in the Mario factor. If we were playing him in Miami, I'd be a lot more worried. I'm hoping that nullifies that slight edge that they may have. Now that being said, they can come out and kick our ass. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But I never trust Cristobal as a coach. There's always a collapse. So I'm hoping it's Saturday. We'll see what happens.
And it's funny, Harry, you were literally reading my mind, because I was going to say, going into this weekend, I mean, we look at Miami, and to your point, they do have a bunch of guys up front. Akeem Mesidor, who I think he went to West Virginia for, a year or two. Said something
almost
about.
Had him. I interviewed him. Charlie Partridge wanted him badly. We almost had him. He went there for playing time, and he got the hell out in a year.
Yeah, got out. Was there for a year. I think an article came out. He said he wasn't safe in Morgantown. I think we've certainly seen those conversations from not just Pitt fans, from other people as well. Left Morgantown. Neil Brown was really upset about that. Obviously, the kid's from Canada, goes down to Miami, has really had a great career down there. Obviously, Ruben is another great guy you look at. Going into this football game as we start to wrap up the show, and again, appreciate the super chat here. Yinzer Y'all, thank you for the super chat. And Andy, thank you for the super chat. If you guys have a question there, go ahead and ask it. I'll be able to find it through here. Appreciate the super chat in here. If I can find your question, I'll be able to have it. Thank you for the super chat as always. When you look at this game, you're going into Miami. It's going to be a top 10 opponent. Carson Beck, obviously, we know the type of guy he is. He comes in to transfer from Georgia. I think a really good quarterback. He had a bad game against Louisville, which led to a loss. They have a really good guy, Tony, a wide receiver, a true freshman. They're also playing true freshmen at a number of key spots. I think their offensive line has been really, really good this year, but the highlighting of it, thank you, Malachi Tony is special. Marlon Barnes, truther, thank you. Has been really, really good. I mean, they are a very talented football team, but the one thing that has just crushed Miami, and Harry, you brought it up, it's the Mario Cristobal effect, or it's the Manny Diaz effect. It's the coaches that go that just can't complete the actual season, and they find a way to lose it. To this day, for the Pitt fans that don't know, or anybody that's watching the show right now, Miami has never won an ACC title. That is crazy to think about. Okay, you look at Pitt right now. Pitt has won an ACC title. They have more than Miami. They've been to at least 2. Miami's only been to at least one or potentially two ACC matchups in terms of ACC Championship game. So that's something to keep in mind. Yinzer y'all with the question, with so many impact freshmen and sophomores, should be a fun bowl game this year. Last few we've had decimated with opt-outs. Having our starting QB play a bowl game will be fun for a change of pace. I couldn't agree more. Obviously a number of different reasons.
Point.
Having a younger team, guys will certainly play in this game. So that'll be a major factor moving forward. Really good comment there. Yeah, John Waffle, I did attend Pitt. I attended a smaller school and played ball there. I've always been a Pitt fan, though. Yeah, I went to Pitt, too. Who cares? At the end of the day, who cares at the end of the day? Obviously, he's probably asking that question because obviously Pitt fans were getting on Notre Dame fans because I think 90% of Notre Dame fans didn't even go to Notre Dame. So, right. That makes sense. Bozeman here. The key to success as a non-blue blood super booster school is finding creative ways to develop linemen on both sides of the ball. Pitt needs more development on the O-line. I agree, but also too, I think it's different now in terms of NIL. It's been much more spread out. As I get a lot of guys want to start playing longer or playing earlier. The NIL factor, Pitt has done a great job with resources as we go into the Allen Green tenure here, which he's done a great job behind the scenes of being able to get a lot of NIL money. Pitt has really put money forward for this football team, and it'll really be showing here this offseason. But you look at Pitt's defensive line, had a number of guys that come through this system that we know that they've paid to keep here. Rashad Weaver, Patrick Jones, Jalen Twyman, Kalijah Cansey. Juan Price in the day was another guy that we always used to watch, was pretty much wearing shorts because the guy's legs were so damn big. Devin Danielson that came through here. We've had so many great, defensive ends that have just been truly phenomenal. Back in the day, we had Greg Romeus here. You had a number of guys. Just you look at Jabal Sheard. Just the names have been going on and on and on. So I agree. In this world of athletics, do we have like the kind of money that Miami or Georgia has? No, but I still think that Pitt can do a better job of finding that talent. That's just my personal opinion. Let me see here.
And let's be real. When you see what we have graduating on the offensive line, they're going to have to spend some cash there too. There's some good players that are being developed at the moment, but no doubt they're going to have to hit the market again for transfers, because I think we're going to be losing both Bear and Percy, I believe, right after this season. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, and Percy is out of eligibility. Brian Bayer still has one more year left. I know there's been conversations about him potentially going to the draft. I personally think for his development, he would be best to go back to college for one more year. That's just my opinion. I think if you talk to any NFL scout, that there are certain things that could certainly be worked on. He's a great offensive lineman. I think that one more year in college could be a benefactor. I think potentially I think Pitt needs to look at the offensive line coaching. As we've gone over through the years, I think there's a little bit of ways that things could get better. From a number of people that I've talked to, I'll be really interested to see if Darvo is back next year for the offensive line coaching. But I think there are a number of different guys. Lyndon Cooper will be gone. Jeff Percy will be gone. Luckily, Kendall Stanley will be back. So you'll have your left guard back. BJ Williams should be back next year. He's got one more year to go. Hopefully, if they listen, Ryan Bayer will be back. So you really have three offensive linemen, but you'll need a new center. You'll need a new left tackle. And then if you lose another couple guys here and there, we'll see. But I can promise you right now, to your point, Harry, we're going to need more people through the portal. And we'll see how Pitt attacks as we go into the offseason. But when you look at this team right now, this is a damn good football team in Miami coming here right now. They've had a couple bad and strange losses that were pretty weird. Usually in the beginning of the year, obviously they played a tremendous football game, almost gave it away to Notre Dame. They pretty much dominated Notre Dame from beginning to end until really towards the fourth quarter, where the defense got a little bit tired, allowing Notre Dame to get back in the football game. But we saw a couple losses that you just shake your head at. The SMU game at SMU. They've really turned it on towards the end of the year. We need to have SMU lose as a potential way to get in. I don't think they lose to Cal, so I think SMU is really going to get back to the ACC title game as long as they take care of business, which is pretty crazy to think about. Second year in the league, second year of the ACC Championship game. They're currently at 8-3. The one game, and I'm going to get your guys' thoughts here before we hop off here, because this is a really good discussion on X today. Virginia Tech versus Virginia. And if anybody knows this rivalry, Virginia in the last 24 games, Virginia is 2-22 versus Virginia Tech. It's a pretty astounding number, and through numerous coaches. Virginia right now is what, if I'm not mistaken, 9-2, 9-2 right now, or 9-1. I think potentially 9-1 is what they are. 9-1 football team, or at least 10-1. And then you have Virginia Tech, who's what, 3-7 right now. They have an interim head football coach there. The game's going to be at Virginia. If you two had to guess, even with the series being 2-22 in the last 24 games they didn't play in 2020, is that probably the game that we need to watch, do you guys think? Or do you think there's an upset alert for Cal, even though they just fired Justin Wilcox, their head coach? Do you think our best bet is to probably look at the Virginia Tech-Virginia game? Or do you think that Cal, do you think they have a chance to really upset SMU, which would be on the road at SMU, I believe? Harry, go ahead first.
My humble opinion, you have a much better shot of Tech taking out Virginia than you do. I think Cal's going to get killed. So I'm just being honest. I will say I'm aware of the disparity in the rivalry. It baffles me to some extent. So on paper, Virginia should win. But again, we know what it's like with the backyard brawl. You never know where emotions are going to lead. Franklin's there now, maybe a little bit of motivation. We'll see. I still say probably Virginia will take the game, but I wouldn't be shocked if Tech upset them. I mean, like I said, but I think Cal's going to get killed. Right now, they lost their coach. They're probably unfocused, and SMU's a far better team.
I agree, and I had to look it up here just to see the metrics of this game. This game will be on this Saturday, 8 p.m., and it'll be at Cal. So it'll be something. SMU, as you can imagine, in Dallas, Texas, going out to California. That'll be a game. We'll see. But I think to your point, with them getting their coach fired, with Justin Wilcox not being there, I highly doubt that's a football game. I will certainly be watching the Virginia Tech game and the Virginia game after the Pitt game, more than likely. I think that game, if I'm not mistaken, I got to find the time for that Virginia Tech-Virginia game. I don't think it's a night game. It might be like a 3:30 game. Might be watching that in the parking lot after the game. But, Eric, your thoughts? Do you think when you look at this game, if Pitt does what they're supposed to do, number one, Pitt takes care of business? I mean, I've heard from a number of people within the facility. I mean, they're calling this a playoff game for Pitt. I mean, it is a playoff game. To keep your season going, you got to win this football game. It's that simple. It doesn't matter what anything else that goes on. Your job is to take care of your business in your house, which is beating Miami, who comes into Acrisure Stadium again at noon, 2 days after Thanksgiving. It'll be a hell of a game. I suggest people, if you don't have tickets, go on to Pitt's website, get your tickets now, or even go on to StubHub, Ticketmaster, plenty of different places to get tickets. Make sure you guys go after Thanksgiving. But Eric, to your point, do you think that you look at the games, do you think Virginia Tech's got a chance, even at being 3-7? They were tight a little bit with Miami as the game was going on yesterday, but I think that when it started to get really out of hand pretty quickly. But overall, do you think, even with the record, do you think Virginia Tech's got a chance against Virginia, and do you think Cal's got a shot against SMU?
They both have a shot, but I agree with Harry that Tech is probably the more likely of the two, because I just think there's that. Listen, a lot of these guys are probably playing for James Franklin right now. They want to put on a good show, if you will. Like, they want to be in good cahoots with him whenever he takes over. Rivalry games are always difficult to predict at times because there's a familiarity there. Virginia hasn't been in this spot for a while, so did their BVDs get a little tight? We'll see. Now, if I'm not mistaken, did you say that SMU is at Cal?
Yeah, SMU's at Cal at 8:00 on Saturday night.
So what Harry was talking about, new coach, things like that, I can see a scenario where they are mailed in and they just want to get out and just be done with the year. But if you're a competitor, any of those guys are competitors, and there is an assistant coach there that they like, that's taken over for one game, to where I would just call it a shenanigans game, to that could actually happen. Now, the thing is, SMU has been there before, where they were in the playoffs last year. So they'll be a little bit more poised than, say, Virginia would be, just because they've been there, done that. I do lean that Virginia Tech is probably the more likely, and I believe that game's at 7. I believe one's at 7 and one's at 8. So
you're right.
both
Virginia
are
Tech and
at
Virginia
9.
Tech and Virginia are at 7:00, and then Cal and then SMU are 8:00. So those will be going pretty much on at the same exact time. So Pitt fans will have to watch both on there. But it's certainly going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, let's be real. It sucks because I just don't think any of them is going to happen. But if I were to put money on it, it'd definitely be Tech over Virginia. Although we never know, some shenanigans could happen whenever there's no coach. You know, as when you're working, the boss is away, and then like the assistant manager is there, and that's the cool assistant manager, and you can do some shit there that you didn't do when the boss was there. So you never know what can. But it's probably going to be Tech, if any.
Couldn't agree more. Well, gentlemen, we hit the hour and 10-minute mark, guys. If you have not done so, make sure, guys, you go over to if you're on X right now, head over to YouTube, hit the like button down below, hit subscribe. Our goal is to get to 2,000 subscribers. Harry, as always, tell them where they can follow you on all of your socials, sir.
So again, on X, I'm at Pitt Guru. I've been covering Pitt in some way, shape, or form for over almost 30 years, believe it or not. Obviously, I tweet out a lot of the great stuff from Pittsburgh Sports Now, and wrote a best-selling book on autism. You can find that at harrypsaros.com.
Eric, take it away, brother.
Yeah, obviously, we can see the handle there at Bird Cave. You could find on the Twitters. Do a lot of Pitt and Steelers and football content in general, as well as some beer reviews. Best beers to have. A tailgate. And then we have our live shows on the YouTubes on Monday night. We're going to have a very interesting Steelers talk tomorrow. These bastards. And then obviously we normally do Thursday night, so obviously we will not do one this Thursday night, but we'll see what happens maybe over the weekend or going to next week. But appreciate everybody coming over and checking us out there as well.
And then a question here, Will, JJ, are you going to do a preview for this game? Yes, I will do a preview for this game for Pitt and Miami for the last game before potentially an AC title game. Got a little tied up with work this week. Honestly, depending upon my schedule with what's going on with the family and stuff like that, I may go live on Thursday just to get a little conversation going. To give you guys something. I'll probably do a poll during the week if you guys want to have something on to where maybe you're at the Thanksgiving dinner table or sitting down afterwards. Obviously, there's gonna be some football on, so there's plenty of stuff to watch on Thanksgiving. But maybe we'll do a bunch of stuff overall. I might go live and maybe do something there, depending upon what the family's doing. Great content, guys. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you, sir, as always. Thank you, gentlemen. Yins are all. Thank you, sir. And last hot topic, I have to ask this before we go because the search for Penn State has been absolutely horrific. I mean, it has gone about as worse as you could possibly go, fellas. They have missed on a number of different targets. It's certainly a wide open debacle. But the one question I have is, and I'll probably go to Eric first here. Does Terry Smith, former Whippeal head football coach at Gateway, the associate head coach and cornerbacks coach for the Penn State Nittany Lions now, and the interim head coach, does he get the job at Penn State?
For his sake, I hope he does.
For his sake, I hope he does.
Because I like to see the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I do think and this goes fandom speaking, right? Because obviously, don't really root for Penn State at all. But for his sake, I hope he does because he's proving, you can tell he's winning or already had probably the support of his team. I'm going to tell you this, though. Will Penn State, and I don't want to say this to sound derogatory towards Terry Smith because I think he's a hell of a coach, but will Penn State accept that?
Yeah,
is it a pride thing? They couldn't get their guy, so they got to keep promoting house. Is that a black eye on Penn State for not being able to get the guy they want? Yeah,
and you just fired a guy that you said it was not good enough, and then you're gonna promote a guy on staff that wasn't good enough. Harry, what are your obviously covering the Whippeal for over how many years? In the day, Terry Smith is well known, especially through the Gateway circuit, where he was a head football coach. He got his first gig in college football with Matt Rule at Temple, then went to Penn State afterwards. It's been a crazy search, but in your opinion, do you think he has a shot to become the next head football coach at Penn State?
In the last 2 weeks, I've convinced myself that he does. I thought it spoke volumes that the team was holding up signs yesterday saying hire Terry Smith. Let me say this. What I loved about Dave Wanstead, and you could say this about Narduzzi, but Wanstead was a true Pitt guy, right?
Yeah.
He came through the school.
Yeah.
He knew it. He loved it. I love the one line they gave him. They were talking about recruiting. He put up his hand to the reporter. This is right when he was getting hired. Wani said, I know how to sell this school. It's in my blood. Basically, Smith can say that about Penn State. He's had an opportunity. It's a bit of an audition, and he's done fairly well. So it's an interesting conundrum if you're a Penn State fan, but I think he has and he interviews, by the way, this week. They're setting it up now. I actually think he might be the guy. I really do, and I don't think it would be a bad hire. I'm not trying to be like put my Pitt glasses on, and Eric and I know a ton of Penn State guys here we're all friends with, but I think it actually would be a fairly solid hire. Is it an improvement over Franklin? I don't know. I need to see a full season.
Yeah.
But my gut is telling me he's the guy. I think the momentum is heading that way. And he, if you cut him, he bleeds Penn State blue and white. So I think there's a distinct possibility within a week we could see him being named that full head-time head coach.
I agree. And I think there's potential there. From my understanding, talking to a number of different sources, Penn State athletic director Pat Kraft was not happy with the hire Terry Smith signs. That was clearly a motivated event by Terry Smith. In a number of different interviews, it is very much pushed by Terry Smith to get this job. And a great athletic director who's now retired, a legendary athletic director, once told me, when you're hiring a football coach, you never listen to the players because the players aren't there for 10 plus years. He's like, and this guy has hired numerous coaches. We'll see if people stick to that notion. I think, Terry Smith right now, I think, again, the one thing with, in my opinion, Terry Smith, when you fire a guy like James Franklin, who's won 10 to 11 games really almost every year besides this year and probably one other year besides that, so about 3 or 4 years out of his 12 years, you want to kind of, your job is when you fire a coach, you want to get an upgrade. I don't know if Terry Smith is an upgrade because he has not been a head football coach in college. That is a severe concern. He has not been a coordinator. He has been an associate head coach and a DB, a position coach. That's really good. He certainly recruits out of his mind. I mean, the guy has done a phenomenal job of recruiting. I think he's one of the top 10 recruiters in the nation, in my opinion, for how well he recruits. But that is a risky hire. And I think that Penn State, for what it's worth, it would be a massive mistake, in my opinion, because one, the lack of experience there. I wouldn't understand it, but at the end of the day, he is a guy that bleeds blue and white. That is the pro of Terry Smith. I think that he can certainly bring that. He would easily. I mean, he's the easiest guy in the world to sell Penn State. I mean, he could do it to anybody. Certainly had his Joe Paterno button on and everything previously before that. Jay Paterno was certainly pulling the strings at the top level for Penn State still, which is a disappointing thing to hear and to listen to. But sometimes universities and institutions don't learn. But we'll be able to watch and see what that looks like. Terry Smith right now is 2-3 on the season as the interim head football coach. I think they finish up their season at Rutgers. They'll probably win that football game. I think he'll probably finish the year as a head, as the interim guy as a 3-3, 3-3 affair. So we'll be able to watch that, and that'll certainly be fun to look at. I'll probably do a couple videos during the week on some head coaching searches. Obviously, Virginia Tech takes on James Franklin. Matt Sieg was down there. For people that are wondering, I think as we go through this search right now, I think if I had to put a button on it, from anything that I've seen online or when you look at it, I think it's really anybody you talk to. I think it's down to Pitt and Virginia Tech. 3 weeks ago it was Pitt versus Penn State. Then it was Pitt versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame pulled their offer. There was a whole story behind that. And then you have Pitt versus Virginia Tech. It's going to be fun to see what happens here and what that looks like. But certainly Pitt is in it, guys. It's been a fun episode. Cannot thank the special guests as always. We cannot thank Harry and Eric enough for coming on to the show here tonight. But the show is what it is, not because of me or anybody else, but because of each one of you in the comment section. Cannot thank you so much for subscribing to the show, the comments you provide. Again, to meet so many of you at the tailgates come up. I mean, Eric, you got to meet so many. Harry, people walk up to you every day as well. We truly appreciate the support. And one, we love our Pitt men and women, and it is a collective group. And there is nothing better than the royal blue and gold. And there's nothing like it. And it's Panther Nation. It's the University of Pittsburgh, and it's Pitt. Well, guys, it's been another episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Cannot thank you guys enough for being here. As always and forever, hail to Pitt.
Hail to
Enjoy
Pitt.
your day. Enjoy your holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time.